Matches below. Hey guys, Matches Balone here, bringing you guys a TV show review of season 2 of The Flash on the CW network. So if you guys saw my Legend of Tomorrow review, you guys know that I was kind of indifferent in that whole season, but overall I thought it was good. I kind of feel the same way when it comes to The Flash season 2. But strangely enough, when it comes to the season 2 of The Flash, if I like something, I super liked it. I loved it. It was awesome. But then if I hated something, it was the complete and worst thing I could have been watching. So even though there is similarly, I kind of have like it was just an okay season. It was a good year. There was a very striking contrast between what I liked and what I didn't like. So let's just jump straight into it. The villain, right? The main big bad guy for the season is Zoom. I think Zoom was a pretty cool character. He was really good. I think they did a good job of kind of given him different types of, I guess, what's the word I'm thinking here? Just goals and desires, right? He had a different agenda compared to Reverse Flash, but at the same time, because he was so similar to Reverse Flash, I think that ultimately worked against the character and worked against the season. I think having a speedster be the main villain for season 2, it made it a little boring for me to watch because it was, kind of playing your greatest hits again, going over the same beats and paths and moments that we just saw in the earlier season. So that's a little unfortunate. I would have loved it if season 2 had a different villain, just different in the sense of different power sets. It doesn't matter who it would have been as long as it was a different villain. So you could have made Zoom Bad Guy season 3, and at least there's that gap and that space between them, and you don't feel like we've just been over this. Why are we doing this again? Now, another thing that Zoom, I think he was cool, and the mystery behind him was cool, but ultimately I did hate how they kind of butchered the Jay Garrick character, right? They made him evil, and to me, I was a little against that. Now, the show does do a good job of redeeming themselves and gives us a more proper Jay Garrick, so I'm really happy about that. I also love who they chose because right from the get-go, I always thought that like, hey, instead of having that character portray this character, that actor portray this character, he should be playing Jay Garrick to kind of play a little joke on words of what he's done in his past career. So I really like who they used to ultimately make the new Jay Garrick. That was shown in the season finale. So again, it was really awesome that you waited until like literally the last moment to do it. Nevertheless, it was cool. But that character also said something. The new Jay Garrick also said something that really kind of annoyed me as far as the rest of season 2, and that he said that he is from World 3. Now, I take issue with this because in season 2 of The Flash, one of the big things is that Flash and Cisco, right? They travel to Earth 2, and they go look at this different Earth, and the show did a really good job of kind of separating them. Right? They made this world feel like its own world. It was very stylized. It was very. It was also very vague as far as is it taking place present day? Is it taking place in the past? So it is cool how they decide to portray another world, but ultimately they made Earth 2 kind of like the bad guy world. If you had a doppelganger in this world, he is most likely a super villain. So that kind of annoyed me a little bit because in the comics, usually Earth 3 is the bad guy world, right? All of our heroes are evil and all of our villains are heroes. And so at the get-go, I didn't take issue with it. I just figured they're probably never going to go to Earth 3, so it's okay to make this one like that. But then at the end of the season when Jay Garrick says, oh, he's from Earth 3, now I'm a little annoyed because if you were already thinking of going to Earth 3, why not just make Earth 2 the normal Earth, just in a completely different universe, and make Earth 3 the villain world? Like, I would have liked it if you guys kind of thought ahead a little bit on that. Or maybe you guys do and I just don't know, so I apologize for that. And again, if you had made Earth 2 a more of just a regular world, I think you would have emphasized a lot more how Zoom is terrorizing this world and he pretty much taking over. And that's another issue I have. You guys don't really specify if Zoom just took over the city or he did take over the entire world. And I take issue with that because if in this world there's a Zoom who's supposed to be like the evil Flash, and there's like an evil Firestorm and an evil I guess Caitlyn, right? Shouldn't there, in some way, fashion, or form, be Green Arrow and be the rest of the Justice League? Like, did he kill off those characters? Did the world just abandon the city because Zoom is that powerful? Nobody could stop him. Like, I really would have liked if there was a little more of a definition as far as what he was doing. I think his ultimate goal and his ultimate plan at the end was really cool and really interesting. And the season finale itself was probably the best way to describe this whole season, because the beginning of the episode it started off really cool. Then during the episode there were some things right that's really lame and ultimately really dumb, and then it picked up at the end and it had so much great images and homages to the comics and to the source material that really picked up the episode. And then the finale was that that final period of an ultimate twist, and I think that's the best way to describe this season. There are a lot of things where I didn't like, and I thought it really made the season go on a little too long. But at the same time, once it picked up, once it kind of gave us these really cool moments, it was awesome, and it became the best show that week. So I really like that. Aside from Zoom, I think the villains from the villain of week, the other villains that Flash has faced throughout the season were also really cool. I think I commend you guys. You guys really pushed the envelope as far as what you can do on TV. You guys had a lot of cool guest characters like the Atom Smasher, like King Shark. Like those alone, it's awesome how much you guys were able to progress from season 1 to season 2, and then a lot of more villains outside that weren't that very CGI heavy, right? Tarpid was also a cool character. I would love him to be more Tarpid instead of the human form, but still another cool character. But then just some interesting rogues galleries that did come from Earth 2. I thought all of that was really awesome. But here, this is also like, I guess, the bad side of it is that there's a lot of times where Flash is facing one of these villains of the week, and I would have so much preferred if he had faced that villain a lot more and a lot more often than, let's say, Zoom, because it was so similar, and I was a little tired of, the Flash isn't fast, so he has to get faster. That's essentially the premise that we had in season 1, and that's pretty much the premise they brought back for season 2. So I was a little listening to that, really hoping that season 3 villain, it's completely different. There's going to be different stakes, and ultimately Barry has to solve how is he going to defeat this villain in a completely different way, aside from he just has to get faster. Another thing I want to talk about is that there was a lot of speedsters in this show, which at the same time it is really cool, but also I wonder if maybe that's taken away from just how special and how cool the Flash is, right? When you introduce too many speedsters that are ultimately faster than the Flash, doesn't that ultimately make your hero weak, right? I think it was cool, and I think they played it out smart, because pretty much Zoom is the only main villain or the main speedster that Flash is going against, but then every so often Flash will fight another speedster that was only in one episode, right? So I think that was cool because it was a quick rivalry and it didn't really affect the overall progression of the main bad guy and the main rivalry. But every time the Flash would face off against someone, he faced off against Trajectory, he faced off against Reverse Flash. I was kind of wondering, man, how cool it would be if Zoom just pops in right now and he kind of fights them off as well. So, it was cool. They also introduced a lot of characters that eventually become speedsters. Now, we didn't get that in this season, and I think that ultimately was the right decision. I think you gave us the characters, you teased us that they might have powers later on, and I think that's the best way to go, because ultimately you don't want to clutter the season with just so many side characters, right? We already know how that ends up. It's a lot more failed than success, right? So it's really tricky to kind of, really juggle multiple characters at the same time. So I really think that was awesome. Hopefully we get, one of those characters that that tease us that have powers. They'll show they have powers in season 3. If not, if you hold it off to like season 4, I think that still works fine, and it just really builds up this. We're finally going to see them with powers. I think the characters that got powers at the end of the last season, right? So like Caitlyn and Cisco, I think how you show their powers in season 2 was also really cool. Caitlyn, obviously, it was a doppelganger. It was Killer Frost from Earth 2, so we already saw the final form of her, and that was really cool. But I really do hope in this, let's say our Earth, the Prime Earth, eventually she will get those ice powers. Whether you decide to make her an actual villain or hero, that's ultimately up to you guys. But I do wish that this Caitlyn does ultimately have powers down the line. Cisco, I think you did a really good job at portraying that he is getting stronger. He is learning how to use his powers, but he's not full-fledged superhero just yet. So I think that's really cool. I'm really excited and interested to see how he's going to progress for Season 3. I also like how you kind of play with the whole backstory of Vibe and his brothers. I think having Reaver be his doppelganger, and I forgot the name, but basically his brother being a villain too was the sickle. I think that was really cool, and I think you guys are doing a great job. Costume wise, are always awesome as well. You guys are really you just you're knocking the ball out of the park. You guys are hitting home runs. I just really wish the little minute gripes I have against the show, you guys could fix it a little bit so it really becomes this awesome show. Really blown away by season 1, but like I said, I feel like you guys are just a little bit retelling the same story in just in a different way. Aside from all of that, like I said, overall, I was really happy with the season. I think it was really cool. They showed us a really cool stuff, and they also did a really great job of kind of expanding not only the Flash's world, but pretty much the DC universe you guys have created on the CW. So I think that's really cool, and I hope that all the teases you gave us in this season will eventually pay off later on. Maybe not season 2, maybe not in season 3, but maybe season 4, or maybe one of the other shows. Hopefully. We would, get to see Atlantis, and we get to see all these other characters that were talked about. What I kind of want for season 3 is obviously have the new Jake Garrick, the real Jake Garrick, come back, have a little bit of crossover between them. We know the big kind of, it's not a plot twist, just the big moment that happened at the end of Legends of Tomorrow. Obviously, that character and this new Jake Garrick are in the same team, and so hopefully maybe we'll see more of this new Jake Garrick, and he's going to be a part of that team, but also help the Flash every so often. Interested to see who the next villain is. Like I said, I'm really hoping it's not Speedster. Not that I have anything against it. I think it is cool when Flash faces off against somebody who's just as fast as him. Some of his most iconic stories are about that, but I just like somebody who is different from that, and ultimately, what I'm super excited for season 3 would be getting to the point of having a proper Flash family. Like I said, we have the new Jake Garrick, who I believe is, or the original Jake Garrick, right? The real Jake Garrick. So that's awesome. We have obviously the Flash, and we're gonna have the side characters, right? Wally West hopefully becomes Kid Flash, and man, I forgot her name. But eventually, Jesse, right? Eventually, Jesse becomes Jesse Quick, right? And I'm kind of hoping that because Jesse Quick was in affiliation with Jay Garrick, or do I have that wrong? But ultimately, I'm hoping that we do get, in some which way, form a proper Flash family on the on TV. That would be super awesome. But yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts. Like I said, it was a good season, had some gripes against it, but overall I came out super excited, and it was really awesome, and just over the roof of how I'm excited for the next season. But yeah, you guys, tell me you guys your thoughts and opinions down below. Tell me, guys, did you like the show? Did you guys didn't? Whatever you guys think, let me know. Like the video, you guys like it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe and look forward to more videos. Thanks. Laters.